heroic red fox jumped over the lazy brown dog.
That's 100% correct.
Yes.
He did it for the first time. This is show 11. And welcome to Alec and Wyatt Weekly. My name is Wyatt Wheeler.
And I'm Alec McChesney.
And we just started the show.
Well,
what do we got on store for us, Alec?
We had a busy week last week. There was obviously the NFL draft. We had spring football and some Missouri State baseball. Let's start with Dylan Cole. Obviously, we all expected him to get his name called this weekend, but unfortunately he didn't. What did you see on Saturday? What happened? And obviously where did Dylan end up?
Well, we just kept waiting, and it was the same for him because he was expecting to hear his name called because He told us that earlier in the week. But he ended up going undrafted. He tweets out that it's going to just make his story better, which it will. And then 6 minutes later, right when you're trying to form your own tweet, he announces that he's signed with the Houston Texans. So Congratulations, Dylan Cole. We've enjoyed covering you, and we're excited to see you in Houston.
And it's actually an awesome deal for him in Houston. Mm-hmm. He said it's a team that he's been in contact with for a pretty long time now. And they've got a good setup for him. They gave him a 3-year deal. It's $27,000 guaranteed, and he has a real opportunity to make the team. There's not a ton of linebackers there. Obviously, Zach Cunningham was taken in the second round by the Texans. Then you got Brian Cushing and Whitney Merciless. But other than that, he's got a real chance to make the team here.
He does have a good chance to make the team. I mean, the guys in front of him, they're obviously really good. Houston's got one of the better defenses in the NFL.
Right.
Brian Cushing, he's injury-prone.
But he's as good as he gets.
And he's really good. Whitney Merciless made an all-pro team. And Zach Cunningham with that second-round pick, they obviously have plans for him.
Right.
But to see a Missouri State linebacker go anywhere in the NFL is a big deal for the program.
And he'll get to be on the same defense as J.J. Watt, so that's obviously pretty exciting for him.
Jadeveon Clowney.
Yes. Definitely good people to look up to and learn from as his career, progresses.
And his contract's nicer than most undrafted free agents.
Which means that the Texans were obviously interested in him going forward in the future.
Especially when he went back
quickly. Now let's talk about what's going to happen on Missouri State's campus now that
Who
Dylan Cole
will
is
the
gone.
next NFL player be? Will it be Peyton Hueslick?
Maybe. On Thursday in the spring game, Peyton Hueslick looked really good. He had 345 yards passing. He threw a touchdown. He had a rushing touchdown. But more importantly, he threw the ball downfield.
It wasn't side to side.
No.
It wasn't like a swing pass.
It wasn't an option. It wasn't a lateral. It wasn't a swing pass, and it wasn't a dump down. Peyton Hueslick has a cannon, and he throws the ball far. He throws it quick, and the offense looked fantastic. But who was catching the passes for him? Malik Earl didn't even play, so where did the offense come from?
Well, they got Tyler Curry and they got Deion Holloman.
Right.
But more weapons than we're used to seeing, and that's a big deal for when last year you see Brody Lambert staring down Malik Earl just about every other play. And if Malik wasn't open, then tuck and run.
Right.
But to have Tyler Curry, to have Deion Holloman, to have an Oklahoma State transfer tight end in the waiting, it's going to be a fun year on offense as long as they keep throwing vertical instead of lateral.
I think it's really exciting because, we kind of got used to that short pass game with Brody and Malik. Malik's obviously still here and should be one of the best players on Missouri State's offense this year and has the potential to be an NFL wide receiver kind of guy. But Tyler Curry, Peyton Hueslick, 2 JUCO transfers that have a chance to walk in and make an immediate impact for the football team next fall should excite people. They might not win very many games, but they're not going to be losing boring games. They're going to be productive, they're going to score, and it's going to be an exciting brand of football as a little bit different than years past.
And that's the thing about Missouri State football going into next year. They have a tough schedule. North Dakota, opening day against Mizzou. So they can be really better than they were years past, but they could have a worse record or they can have about the same record. But it's more exciting because offense, it's the way you want to see it.
Right.
I mean, you knew what you were getting with Steck coming in as defensive mind, but I think it should get more fans in the seats.
I think that's the big thing is that if offense brings in people, and when we watch these baseball games, the home runs draw people to the stadium. Touchdowns bring people to Placer Stadium.
So home runs as in like Jeremy Ironman?
Yes, exactly. Jeremy Ironman and Missouri State baseball Bears have been as you could say, on fire as of late.
They're okay. They're a decent baseball team.
Last week they defeated Mizzou in an impressive showing. Justin Paulson came back after missing a few games, and
he had a dinger.
They played really well. Unfortunately, as Justin Paulson came back, the Bears lost second baseman Aaron Meyer for the rest of the year. What happened on Tuesday?
It was really emotional game. Right at the end of the first inning, the third out of the bottom half, Aaron Meyer tried avoiding a tag when he dribbled one of the pitcher, and as he tried to avoid it, his leg gave out beneath him, and the Bears lost him for the rest of the season as he laid there for 12 minutes, I believe. But it was really emotional. It was really something to see a senior co-captain get carted off the field when they're in the middle of this run that they're in, and as good as Aaron's been playing, because he's been on fire as well.
But I think that, as you saw in the Mizzou game, they ended up rallying behind the injury behind Meyer to win the game. And then this past weekend against Evansville, they played fantastic. They were the comeback kids. What happened this weekend?
Like Justin Paulson said after the Mizzou game, as if they needed more motivation to go out there and rally behind something, they said now they play the rest of the season for Meyer. And they go out, they're down early in the game against Evansville, and they end up coming back. They just charge back, they don't quit, and then they end up winning that game big. They come back the next day, and they're down 5-0. Come back, win 9-5, which is...
So I think that's kind of that thing. They're not a one-trick pony anymore. It's not, we're going to hit home runs. They've got some good pitching. Austin Knight was fantastic against Mizzou, as was the bullpen. They've got different ways to hit the ball. They've got different ways to score. But more importantly, they're not giving up when they're down 5-0. They come back to win 9-5. I mean, that Friday game was suspended on Friday night. They didn't finish it until Saturday. Jeremy Ironman hits a home run on Friday and Saturday in the same game, technically. It's just, there's so much momentum rolling right now. They take on Kansas today, and then this weekend they're going to head over and play Southern Illinois. Obviously, it's going to be a little different because...
Southern Illinois is actually a pretty good program, too, but... They're not going to have their head coach when they go down there, even when they go to Lawrence. Because Gutton got suspended for not complying with rules when you get kicked out of the game. So
it's going to be interesting.
They'll have Evans as their head coach going into these next 3 games. He's been in rumors to be a head coach somewhere else eventually. So they'll be in good hands. Gutton's the legendary coach, but Evans is a pretty good head coach in waiting as well.
Obviously, with this past week, we had a ton of excellent options for the Alec and Wyatt Player of the Weekly.
The second one.
Yes.
Which is way much cooler than the first.
The first one. Peyton Huslik and Tyler Curry obviously played great. Aaron Meyer, being a senior leader. Jeremy Ironman's incredible. But we're going to have to give it to the man, the myth, the Texan. Dylan Cole receives the award, not just because he was awesome at Missouri State, just because of everything that he's done for the program, but also he handled this past weekend with incredible class and was just a really good bright spot for Missouri State. And
he's got a bright future ahead of him. No matter what he does with the Texans, he's a really good guy. We enjoyed having him here. And we wish nothing but the best for him.
Well, that'll do it for another episode of Alec and Wyatt Weekly. I'm Alec McChesney.
And I'm Wyatt Wheeler.